All right, everybody, and welcome back to Stardom Bed'em Podcast. My name is Brendan Shelley. I am the host. I got my man Dan Ambrose here. Dan?
A great day for me. This is just a story about getting older, I guess. Exciting news. Costco is opening up soon. They finally have a date. So life is great here.
Big news indeed.
Yes.
When we were living in that neck of the woods, we were driving 30 minutes to Costco. Unfortunately, that is my date day now. Like, Elise and I go to Costco. That's our date day.
A lot of frustration going up to Summerlin or even going out to Henderson to go to Costco. So I'm glad to be having that by the end of August, very close to me.
I'm excited for you as well. The property value will seamlessly go up too because it's just facts. Costco is king. So
we'll see.
True story. If you ever have back pain, which I've had, you take an edible and you end up at Costco, your wife driving, of course, those goddamn free samples were the greatest things I ever had in my life. So just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. It was
so
wonderful.
Edible and then free
Wonderful.
samples.
Yes, exactly.
Only if you have back pain, though.
Only back pain, correct. Only back pain. Don't do it for recreational purposes. All right. So today, let's talk about what the hell we're going to actually talk about today. We're going to be talking about running back rankings. Remember, this whole show is fantasy football meets gambling. Our goal is to get you guys to be, and females, whoever's listening to this, I support everybody. So they, them, you, whoever you are, thank you for listening. So what we want for you people is to literally just learn the ins and outs of gambling in a sense of what each bet means and find the value in what we're about to go through today. So we're going to go through our running back rankings. I keep saying our. Dan, are you part of this ranking?
I am not.
All right.
I will not take credit for any of this.
I will definitely make that a point because he has critiqued these a couple times and he wants nothing to do with it. So we're going to go through.
I am just here for the gambling content side of it.
Correct.
You have the fantasy.
Yep, exactly. My fantasy is that I'm good at fantasy. That is a good fantasy.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's been true as long as I've known you.
Yes, correct. So I'm chasing that dream, and that's why we're doing this podcast. So these are my top running backs ranked in order of PPR league. This is redraft style. This is not dynasty, although I'm a dynasty guy. We're going to get into the dynasty stuff as we get more into the podcast. But what we're looking for today is we're going to cross-compare some of the ideas that I have might happen this season versus their season totals based off a couple sports books. We're going to use those numbers. We're going to find value, and I'm going to tell you where I'm putting my money. And you can follow me, you can fade me, we can just laugh and have a good time here, and then eventually try edibles at Costco. All right, so let's lead it off, Dan. Who's my number one guy, and he's number one in my heart too.
Number one, you have Bijan Robinson. Last year, he did 1,456 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns, 61 receptions, and 431 yards receiving with one receiving touchdown.
Yeah, in fuego. I love Bijan. This man is super exciting to watch. I got him going ham again this year. So I'm going to go through what I ranked him, and then we're going to go through where he stands versus the books. I got him getting 1,650 yards on the ground. I'm going to get him 9 touchdowns. He's going to have 62 catches, a little bit more than last year. About 540 receiving yards, much more than last year. They're going to get him out in that space, and he's going to have 3 receiving touchdowns. He's going to break a couple this year. Something he couldn't really do last year.
So unfortunately, we won't be able to have anything from the sports books on the receiving side of it. However, on the rushing side, you are well ahead, we'll just put it that way, of the sports books. The sports books have him at 1,150 and a half yards, so about 500 yards less than what you have. So I can only assume the mortgage will be on that one.
That is correct.
Responsibly, though.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yep. I will make this decision without my wife's approval. Last week, it took a little bit to get into some of those quarterback picks. This one right out the gate, Bijan Robinson. I'm hammering this. So all he needs to do is get 1,151 yards and you win. I'm seeing him get that by week 14. So this is easy money. So I'm hammering this one.
I will note that. Brendan says week 14.
It's very aggressive. I know. Week 14.
So I don't hate it, though. I mean, when you look at the scenario there, they schedule their division, I guess, is pretty weak in a sense. I mean, they got Carolina twice. They'll have the Saints twice.
Yep.
So there's 4 games there that he could have some pretty decent games in. Even if you just average his last 2 seasons, which it didn't seem like they used him at all, really, the rookie year. I mean, he's still averaging about 12, 16 a year. So I think over 1151 is good. I don't know about 1650, but that doesn't matter because as long as you get to 1151, you win.
Here's the real question. Are you following me on this wager?
I will not be.
Damn it. Thought I had you. Like I said, I would be betting this so either we can win together or we can be miserable together, or you can just watch me either way. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to be very happy with this wager. And the reason why his production has not been great, his rookie season, he had Arthur Smith there. Basically, he's the cock blocker of all fantasy stats. If you're a running back, he brings in guys like Cordell Patterson's like, go. He's crazy. And the scheming is horrible. Last season, they kind of reduced Tyler Algier. This year, I'm hoping they're going to do even more. But Bijan's, it's his backfield. He earned it. So just like this next guy. I love this next guy. Give me a rundown of him. This is crazy. I got him a number 2.
So before we do that, I'm going to finish up on Bijan real quick. For the touchdowns, you guys were close. You had 9, and the books have it at 10.5. So I don't think there's much value there. I think you'd agree with that as far as projection wise.
Yeah.
For your number 2, you have Christian McCaffrey. So rough season, obviously, last year. I believe he played in 4 games. He had 202 yards rushing. The year before, he had 1459, 0 touchdowns rushing, 15 receptions, and 146 yards receiving, and 0 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, so in my opinion, he's back. Kyle Shanahan, they've been talking about him this offseason, how well he's played. He's hitting 1150 on the ground this year. He's going to get 11 touchdowns. He's going to get 68 catches. He's going to get 650 yards in the air for receiving and 4 touchdowns. What does this mean? It doesn't matter because none of the books want my action. They say, you know what? This is too hot to take. So they've opted not to put any kind of goodies on Christian McCaffrey. We're not seeing anything.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I think there's too many questions out there. Obviously, whenever we get games and everything like that, there's going to be yardage, over, under, and stuff. So that'll be your chance, I guess, to bet his over aggressively in that sense.
And Dan brings up a great point. I want to overemphasize this. I don't do this that often. I bet games. I love betting prop bets during games, receptions, over-unders. We do heavy on receiving yards. We do heavy on rushing yards per game. When you invest money like this, it better be a sure bet because they hold on to it until that hits, or some books don't even pay you till week 18. So it's pretty important that you keep in mind that that's it. Your money's out there. You got to hope you get some of it back, or you're going to lose it and you've had it invested all season on something you can't touch. Another good thing to look for, some of these books, Dan, you and I should look into this to have another kind of episode on this. Which books do cash outs early? That might be beneficial to actually put some of your wagers on there. So we can kind of go through that in another episode. Number 3, this is my adventurous side. I'm buying in the hype. So go ahead, Dan.
Number 3, you have Ashton Gentie. Obviously, it's his rookie season, so no stats from last year as far as NFL go. But for college, he was at 2,601 yards. I believe he was up for Heisman as well. And 29 touchdowns last year, 23 receptions, and 138 yards receiving, and 1 receiving touchdown, and led his team to the playoff as well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't buy in on Ashton Gentie. A lot of people are overbuying. I am kind of comfortably in he's going to be a stud running back idea of it. I think it's hard to explain. When you see the game speed, and mind you, Boise State wasn't playing true, big schools. They ended up playing Penn State down the lane. Obviously, we know that. And Ashton broke 100 yards, but didn't look not indestructible. But still, just those little plays. I saw a couple where he'd get caught in the backfield. There's nowhere to go, and he'd get yards. I can't remember which running back said it best, but you always want to fall forward. You never fall backwards. You don't make something stupid happen. And that's what Ashton Gentie does. He finds a hole. He puts his head down. He pushes for those yards. He's a stocky dude. He's like a little muscle hamster. Who's that guy back in the day? Remember him for the Buccaneers? I can't remember his name. They called him the muscle hamster. But this is Ashton Gentie. He's, he almost broke Barry Sanders' record. And I love it. So I did 1130 on the ground. I got him at,
I think, I hope you're right because him being here in Las Vegas and stuff like that. My one concern, it was my concern last year though too, that they just overused him too much in college and kind of potentially wore him down. I mean, last year he had 374 carries. The year before that, 220. It'll be interesting to see if his body can hold up. Sounds like he can. It sounds like he's in really, really good shape. But again, his numbers really depend on how Geno Smith does there as well.
I agree with that. And that's part of what I did. I hammered the catches. And you and I talked about this before the episode. I did him 56 catches, 520 yards receiving, and 5 touchdowns. Extremely aggressive. In college, he has not had, what was his most catches? 40 catches or something like that? I mean, where's he?
43 is what I see his junior year. So, yeah.
So it's all about opportunities. And every time Gentie was, passed the ball, he made the best of it. His PFF ranking for his college years was 90.7. If you put that against any running back last year, the only person that beats him is my boy Bucky Irving, who is later on this list. We'll talk about him at the end. But he has the chops to do it. I love the take you have in regards to his workload. I'm curious to see how it goes. I love Raheem Mostert. I think he's going to be a contributor in Las Vegas. I don't know how much is going to eat Nash and Gentie's share, but just the fact they invested so high on him. You have Chip Kelly, who is a crazy bastard. I'm from Philadelphia, everybody, so I don't like Chip Kelly, but he does know how to get his star players the ball. And hopefully his run style works. It did not work with some of these great running backs like Sean McCoy. Obviously, he drove him out of Philadelphia. And then even DeMarco Murray, what a crazy signing that was. But it didn't work well. He does these gaps, and he gets his guys to push him. I think Ashton Gentie is so young and coachable. He's going to be all right. I think he's going to be able to hit those gaps and play well. So that's my outside run scheme rant. Hopefully it made sense to somebody, but I like Ashton Gentie.
So sportsbook wise, you have 1,050.5. That's what the sportsbooks have Gentie at. You had him at 1,130, so not a whole lot of value there.
No,
kind of right on. And then same thing with touchdowns. You had it projected at 7. They have the over under at 7.5. So
yeah, once again, we talk about value here. There's no value in that. You don't want to put whatever money you're going to, let's say you put 2 units on this, you got to wait a whole season to see anything on that for an additional 80 yards. Hopefully he gets 80 more yards than what they project him at. It's too much of a risk. So he gets hurt one game, you're screwed. Here's your 80 yards.
So at number 4, you have Jameer Gibbs. Last year, 17 games played, 1,412 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns, 52 receptions, 517 yards receiving, and 4 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, I love Gibbs. Anybody that's seen his tape is excited to watch him play. He had a monster season last year, 1,400 yards on the ground. I have him way under. And I wrote it all out. And for me, losing Ben Johnson, the schemes, obviously you still have Goff. You still have other key players there. But the reality of it is that, I don't know, I just think there will be slight drop-off from Ben Johnson. And I think David Montgomery is still going to be heavily involved. So I have him coming in at 970 yards. I have him at 8 touchdowns. I have him still catching the hell out of the ball, 65 catches, more than he's had in the past. I got him at 600 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. The beauty of this is I'm not far off from what the books thought too. So tell me about what the books thought, Dan.
So sportsbooks have him at 1,075.5 yards rushing. You can get it at 1,050.5 as well. Just depends if you like the over or under there. If you're looking at the under, obviously you would go with the higher one, which is the 1075.5. If you like the over, you'd go to the 1050.5. You had it at 970. So again, probably not a ton of value there. 100 yards or so. And then rushing touchdowns, you had them at 8. They have them at 10.5. So you were lower on the yards, but they're higher than you on the touchdowns. And then receiving, there are none for him this year. But you are correct. 65 receptions would be a lot, as he got 52 each of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think the door's kind of open for him to catch more balls out of the backfield. I feel very strong about that. Yep, let's hear about number 5, Dan.
Number 5, you have Breece Hall. Last year, played in 16 games, 176 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns, 76 receptions, 483 yards receiving, and 3 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, what's not to love about Breece Hall when he's healthy? That's the key words. Iowa State product. He's got great hands out of the backfield. He's always making people miss. He's just a lot of fun to watch. So I'm having a good season. I have him 1150 on the ground, 7 touchdowns on the ground, 55 catches out of the backfield, 525 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns. Dan, how's that do versus the books?
The sports books have him at 900.5 yards rushing, and I believe that is all we have. Yep, that's all we have.
That's all they did.
Him. So you are about 250 yards ahead of the projection.
Some good value there. We talked a little about this with Josh Allen. There's some players that I don't like to touch just because of their physicality and their previous injury history. Breece Hall is one of them. Obviously, he's coming back 2 years removed from a vicious injury. I still don't think he's back to full speed. I think this season he might finally be back to full speed. He's got Aaron Glenn's blessing. Apparently, Aaron Glenn has said he's my man back here because there's some rumors that it's going to be a split backfield, Braylon Allen, but we know how the rumor mill goes. I do like Braylon Allen. I think he's going to interrupt some of his rushes, but overall, I think Breece Hall still has a very solid season. Am I going to bet that? No, I don't like to touch that, only because I'm a little freaked out by injury history. All right, so how about our next guy?
At number 6, you have James Cook. Last year, 1,009 yards, 16 rushing touchdowns, 32 receptions, 258 yards receiving, and 2 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, James Cook is a guy that deserves to get paid. They have not paid him this offseason yet. He's an integral part of that offense. He really proved it near the home stretch last year. So I got him at 1,200 yards in the ground. I got him at 7 touchdowns. I got him at 42 catches out of the backfield, 410 yards receiving, and 5 touchdowns. How's that fare up, man? How'd we do?
Yeah, so just kind of getting into the contract situation too, it does sound like, depending whenever this episode drops, he is going to hold out of OTAs. So we'll see. Hopefully they get something done for him. As far as the sports books go, 950 and a half is what the sports books have. You have him at 1,200. That's quite a big jump there. I'd assume you probably like that a little bit. And for rushing touchdowns, you have them at 7. They have them at 9.5. So probably not as much value there for you.
No, I don't like it. Obviously, no receptions, no receiving yards. So this OTA, I still am going to bet James Cook on the over 950 and a half yards, because that's 1,200 is a big number versus their 950. So I'm going to chase that. I'll put a little bit on that. I'm not going to go big because of his contract situation. Who knows what can happen? So that's my other value pick here.
So number 7, we have Saquon Barkley, 2,005 yards last year, 13 touchdowns rushing, 33 receptions, 278 yards receiving, and 2 receiving touchdowns.
He did pretty good. And it makes me smile even thinking about how fun he was to watch. Holy shit, that's the guy we knew played in New York for so many years. So it was so cool to see that. This season, I faded him a bit. The workload he did last season, and I got a few factors, and I don't want to get into them too much, but I got Saquon at 1,100 yards on the ground this year, 8 touchdowns on the ground, 50 catches, so he's going to get a little busy in the backfield, 400 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns receiving. How do we do versus the books, man?
So you will be fading Barkley because the sportsbooks have him at 1,502.5 yards. So that's great value for you on the under there, which I know you'll be taking. And then as far as touchdowns go, you had him at 8. They have him at 11.5.
Doing this out, 1,100 yards. I do, by my standards, I should fade him. I can't.
What?
Do it.
What?
Do it. There's a green I like more than money sometimes, and it's the Philadelphia Eagles. So betting Saquon against Saquon, basically my Lord and Savior last season, it's kind of hard to do. He brought me to the promised land too, into my fantasy leagues. Obviously, if you want to do it, this is great value here. If you trust me, if you want to take some money off my predictions, bet against we hitting that 15.25. You can bet under, and it's pretty good money too. So so that's my.
So would your wife would be okay with you passing up money because?
Let's see who's number 8.
Because
Let's
of your
talk
heart.
About number 8. Yeah, let's talk about number 8. What do we got
so
here?
Number 8, you had Chuba Hubbard last year. Played in 15 games, rushed for 1,195 yards, 10 rushing touchdowns, 43 receptions, 171. No, yeah. I thought I was wrong. I am not wrong. 43 receptions and 171 yards receiving. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's even a real stat. And 1 receiving touchdown.
Yeah, he was a check down back. I mean, you had a turnstile of quarterbacks last year. You start with Bryce Young, you bring in Andy Dalton, the ginger. Then in comes Bryce Young again. It has a decent end of the season, but while Bryce Young's trying to settle in, running for his life, he was doing as many checkdowns as he could. Andy Dalton, he was actually running the offense better at one point, and then he got in a car accident. That's why Bryce Young got his job back. So they should investigate that accident.
So
no, I'm joking.
Just for reference as well, like in 2022, receiving, he had 14 receptions and 171 yards. So he had the same exact amount of yards with 14 receptions as he did in 2024 with 43 receptions. That's crazy.
Bananas. It's bananas. And honestly, like I said, these little check down dump passes running for your life, the defense is already all over it. So they just had 9 men in the box. I mean, they know what they're doing. So Bryce Young ended up opening up the pass game last season, gave Chuba a lot of opportunity. The other opportunity that came out of for him was them drafting Jonathan Brooks. Everybody thought that would be the heir apparent. Poor guy can't catch a break, man. For the people that held on to him in their fantasy teams last year, hoping he'd get it better, he never did, and now he's hurt again. So Chuba, I did 970 on the ground. I got 7 touchdowns, 45 catches, 380 yards, a little bit more than 171, and 3 touchdowns. The action was only in the books was the rushing yards. How'd we do, Dan?
So you're pretty close. They had a 900.5. So no value really there. Panthers are going to be terrible, I think, again this year.
They're pretty bad.
For some reason, people are high on higher on them this year than in past years, and I don't understand why.
Well, I think it's Bryce Young, the resurgence of Bryce Young,
There's
and
no
again,
resurgence though. Like that wasn't like I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out.
yep, from an efficiency rating, he definitely did a huge uptick, and he was sustainable in fantasy at the back few weeks of the season. I think he was in the top 10, maybe top 8
Oh,
quarterbacks in the
well,
back end of the season for fantasy.
maybe we'll just put him behind Justin Fields then at number
Stop.
6.
Justin Fields is a fantasy pimp.
Here
Number
we go.
9.
So number
Number
9
9.
is Devon Achain. Last year, he played in 17 games, 907 yards rushing, 6 rushing touchdowns, 78 receptions with 592 yards receiving and 6 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, this is a guy, and I don't mean to sound Chris Collinsworth there. This is a guy who, no, so Achain is legit. If he gets the ball and he has any space, he's going to make it happen. So this could either be 1,020 yards, which I projected him at. I wouldn't be surprised if he's 1,900 yards. I truly mean that. So I got him at 1,020 on the ground. I got him at 9 touchdowns, 58 catches out of the backfield, 510 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns in the air. So how'd we do versus the books?
Again, not much out there on him. They have him at 800.5 yards rushing. You had him at 1020. So it's some good value. That's about 220 maybe on you. Again, I think a lot of his numbers too might rely on the health of Tua.
Yep, that's factual. His numbers were pretty shitty when Tua was out, and that's pretty common. So if you look at a comparison of when Tua played versus when he didn't, I think it's somewhere he averaged like 41 rushing yards or something around there without Tua. With Tua, he's over 100. Tua really opened things up for them and had the ability to play action scare. So it's that simple. So Achain, I'm betting the hell out of this. I know you said slight value. I think there's a hell of a lot of value. I think he easily breaks 1,000 yards. I feel more strongly he's going to trend towards the top of this list as the season progresses. I'm going to be hammering a lot of bets in the in-season too, see how he's doing. But I'm a big Achain fan. He's really exciting, and the guy can do everything. So who's number 10?
At number 10, we have Jonathan Taylor. Last year, played only in 14 games. Still pretty respectable yards, though. He had 1,431 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns, 28 receptions for 136 yards receiving, and 1 receiving touchdown.
Taylor's one of those other ones where he's in my injury bucket. I mean, 3 years in a row now, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He had 11 games in 2022, 10 games 2023, 14 games last season, although he did have a monster season. His quarterback situation is abysmal. It's just unbelievably bad. You have Anthony Richardson, who you're adamant's going to start. And then you have Daniel Jones, who, in my opinion, will end up starting. In the end, I do think
I'm not saying that Daniel Jones isn't going to be a starter. I'm saying week one, Richardson is the guy. Has to be.
We're doing a side wager on this.
There's no way that he can't be.
All right, this podcast is the witness. All 3 listeners, if you're listening, you will be our witness to this. Okay, sponsors, this is a big moment for you. You can hype this up for us. All right, so I have Taylor getting 1,100 yards on the ground, Mr. Consistent there. 10 touchdowns. I got him at 32 catches, so it'll be his career high for receiving. 280 yards out of the backfield and 1 touchdown. How'd we do versus the books?
Not a lot of value for you. They have him at 1,200.5 yards, 1,250.5 if you like the under. You had it at 1,100, and then touchdown wise, you guys are about right on. You projected 10, they're at 9.5, and then no other odds for receiving.
Yeah, and I went big on the receiving only because of kind of similar to what Chuba Hubbard became, a check down option. I think Anthony Richardson, if he's in there, he's looking to check down. He's looking to get that ball. We're throwing it widely and accurately to somebody. So, so Taylor, not a lot of value. I still might bet the under only because based off his injury history, the floor is much more likely than the ceiling, in my opinion.
All right, we're betting on bad health. That's great. Number 11 is Joe Mixon. So at number 11, you have Joe Mixon, 1,016 yards last year, 11 touchdowns rushing, 52 receptions, 309 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown.
Big coming out. Welcome to the Texans year for Joe Mixon. He played really well when he was in there. He was up there in the top 5 running backs every time he played in a game. Unfortunately, he didn't do it every game. He only got to play 14 games. I'm not betting on the injury bug. I'm betting on the age and the wheels kind of falling off the tread, getting a little loose there. I got him at 850 yards in the ground. I got him at 7 touchdowns. Have him at 45 receptions, 360 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the air. How are we looking versus the Bucks?
So sportsbook wise, if you like the under, there's 950.5 out there. If you like the over, there's 925.5 out there. So just depending which side you lean. Brendan, for you, not a whole lot of value, I
No.
guess, as far as yards go. And then touchdown wise, they're way over on you. They got 10.5 touchdowns. So there you might have some value if you think the under in the rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't hate that actually. I can see that under, and the reason why I'm betting against them, they have so many different people coming in that offensive season. The offensive line went a big makeover. Is it going to help? I don't know, honestly. I just don't think you're betting on a player, a solid player that has had very good seasons, but he's also been injured a lot, and he also is getting older. So for me, I do like the under. I'd bet under 10.5 touchdowns at plus money too, right?
Well,
Yeah.
no, the over is
No,
at
it'll be
plus, so
minus. Yeah,
you'd
it's probably
probably be
minus
about
130
minus,
or something.
yeah, somewhere in that
Yeah.
range. So at number 12, you have Derrick Henry. Last year, great year, 1921 rushing, 16 rushing touchdowns, 19 receptions, and 193 yards receiving, and 2 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, the blocker of the MVP award. I think Lamar would have won had Henry not played so well. He didn't get the credit he deserved. Henry was just so damn good, though. Very exciting to watch. Wheels did not fall off, but this season, I'm saying he does a little less. It's hard to bet against him, but I got him at 1,220 yards in the ground. I got him at 10 touchdowns, 18 receptions, and 170 yards, and 0 touchdowns in the air.
Yeah, so it's not too bad from what the sports books, they don't see him doing the same either. So they're at 1350.5, so not too far off from your 1220. And then touchdown wise, they do have him at 13.5 touchdowns, which is about 3.5 higher than yours. And then obviously nothing for receiving.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but at the same time, I'm not going to go after that. There's not a lot of value there, especially when you have a guy like Derrick Henry in goal line situations. They're going Derrick Henry. Everybody in the stadium knows that. Depends on where they kind of stall out. They had that big play opportunity with a couple players there. I put him at 10 touchdowns. I did take into account DeAndre Hopkins being in Baltimore. I know he didn't do much where his other landing spots post the Texans, but I can see him taking away a few touchdowns, at least 2 or 3 from Henry. So that's kind of where that's at, but not enough to hit it. I think I'm okay sitting this one out. What about you? You betting anything on Henry?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No. At number
I didn't think
13, we have Omarion Hampton, also another rookie. I think this is our second one that we've had on here.
Yep.
Last year in college, rushed for 1660. He had 15 rushing touchdowns, 38 receptions, 373 yards receiving, and 2 receiving touchdowns. So tell us a little bit about Hampton.
Exciting. That's what I really can't stress enough. And I think he fills a great positional need. First, I almost said San Diego for a second there.
I can't get used
But,
to it. I still
yeah.
can't get used
Oh,
to
dude.
saying Las Vegas Raiders.
Me too. It's been years now too. I still do it. But the Chargers have a big void, a big need at running back. They got Najee Harris. Let's face it, Najee Harris, if anybody has watched him play, he's just weird. He looks like the guy that's going to get you 3 yards no matter what. He never does. He does these stupid stutter steps behind the line. Omarion Hampton hits it, man. He gets the ball, sees where he's got to go, and takes it. So I'm a big fan of him. I like what he's going to bring to the team. He's got good hands coming out of the backfield too. So I went 940 yards, a little big. I think he's going to take the Harris role by week 3. 6 touchdowns, 30 catches out of the backfield, 240 yards, and 1 touchdown.
So is this a player, I know we're not talking about Dynasty, but this is someone you would draft in Dynasty then early?
Yeah.
And then
Yes, correct.
not a non-Dynasty one, then obviously later in the rounds.
Exactly. So Hampton, once again, he's got another guy blocking his initial path to success, which is Najee Harris. But I think when you got a guy like Jim Harbaugh, that he made J.K. Dobbins have a resurgence and make his career worthwhile again, the facts are that he's going to see what he has in Hampton. He drafted Hampton. He handpicked Hampton. And he's going to make this guy his feature back. So it's going to be exciting. And he does rely heavily on a one back system, which is great.
Right. Speaking of systems, let's look at the sportsbook system. They have the rushing yards at 800.5. So you had them at 940. So maybe worth it for you to look into that.
I'm doing it. I like it. Yeah, I'm doing it.
And they do actually, I was surprised we do have a touchdown prop on him too. So that's at 6.5. You have him at 6. So not as much value there.
No,
actually.
not as much. And I bet you if they added in the receiving touchdowns, I'd go over, but they don't. That'd be fun. So I like Hampton. I'm going to be doing that. I see plenty of value, even though it's a 140-yard discrepancy, actually 139.5. I'm going after that just because of the ceiling with Hampton is very, very high. I'm excited to see how he fits in with that offense and really takes hold of that position. So, yeah.
So at number 14, so we got 2 left here. So we got number 14, we have Chase Brown, who really came onto the scene last season. He played in 16 games last year, rushed for 990 yards, 7 touchdowns, 54 receptions, and 360-yard receiving with 4 receiving touchdowns. Again, that seems, I don't know why that seems low to me for receiving yards. Just when you have 54 catches, that sounds crazy to me.
Well, you got to think, 3-4 yards a
I
catch.
guess.
I mean, that's really all it is. They're looking down, Joe Burrow is looking around and doesn't see anybody. He's checking down Chase Brown. So that's where Brown made his bread and butter, receiving out of the backfield. And a lot of people thought Zach Moss was coming there and he'd take that role. He did not. They were doing a dual split. Then Chase Brown just said, I'm done. I'm taking this. And he did. He played really well. He carried some people to the promised land. I was one of them. I got him for the season, though, a little bit under. I did 700 yards on the ground. I did 5 touchdowns. I did 35 receptions, 310 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown. How we do versus the Bucks here?
So sportsbook-wise, they disagree with you. They got him at 850.5 yards. So maybe you're looking at an underplay there since you have no faith in the Bengals this year and nothing else as far as props go.
Yeah, I don't have any faith in the Bengals run game. Let's just be very straight about that. They invested heavily in the pass game, as they should. They have nothing on defense. So most likely it's going to be shootout central. If anything, his 54 catches last year, I have him at 35. I can see that trickling up big time. I know Chase Brown you followed me on some of these. We really hit him hard pretty much during the season with prop bets. So a lot of value in some of these games with Chase Brown. Still undervalued player. I'm undervaluing. I know it sounds crazy, but I think as the season progresses and to see the usage. So now I feel confident with my picks.
There'll probably be a lot of value for him to win Super Bowl MVP, but we can talk about that. So at number 15, there's always got to be a Justin Fields in every category, apparently. And this is your questionable pick here. So Bucky Irving is coming in at number 15. Interesting spot, to say the least. Last year, played in all 17 games. Very healthy guy. Rushing yards was 1,122. He had 8 rushing touchdowns, 47 receptions, 392 yards receiving, and 0 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All right, so I'm not going to give you the numbers yet, all right? I just want to point some things out. Sophomore slump, plus the addition of a new offensive coordinator. I don't know, brand new coach, everything about it. So I don't hate Bucky Irving. And the more I've researched this to tell you that you're wrong, I can't disagree with you at this point. I'm just going to stand by my numbers and eat them. I have Bucky Irving at 620 yards on the ground, 4 touchdowns, 8 receptions, 250 yards, and 1 touchdown in the air. How do we do on this one?
There's only one way to prove me wrong, and that's just to bet the under. Then
I have to. Now.
Yeah, you have to at this point, just for pride.
I have no choice.
So the highest one we have here is 1,050.5. So you are way different than what the books are thinking. And then as far as touchdowns, we did have 1 touchdown, and that's at 7.5, and you have it at 4.
And here I am too, reading my notes to justify it. As I kept doing the research,
I think it's a sign. I think it's just a sign.
I mean, he's Pro Football Focus's number 1 rated running back at receiving last year. He's Pro Football Focus's 6th best rushing grade out of the backfield. He had a 90. He had 62 missed tackles, led the NFL with 3.93 yards after contact. I mean, the guy balled out. Every time I watch him play, it's just so uneventful for me. I don't know why. And the he played well, though, according to everything I'm reading and everything I'm seeing. But I'm going to stick with my numbers.
Yeah, you should.
Go way under. I'm going to bet them just because I have to. That's what we do here. So we're going to stand by my numbers. I'm going to bet them. And speaking of betting, let's recap where our values are here, Dan. You want me to start it up, or what do you want to do here?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So the number 1 guy was also my first bet. I love this bet. We're going over 1,150 yards for Bijan Robinson. Just an easy bet, I'm telling you.
Week 14, you said that will hit.
Week 14. I feel pretty good with that.
I have that note here. Next one.
All right. Yep. My next value pick was James Cook. I like James Cook a lot. And that's 950.5 yards, betting over 950.5 yards for James Cook. The next one we're going to skip. All right. And then the one after that, for those people not watching the spreadsheet, my face that we've made, it is Saquon read it out that he's going to be under the 1,500 yards projected. You can go ahead and bet that. I will not. All right.
It's probably going to be your only winner, which will be the ironic part of all this, right?
That will make me sick to my stomach. All right. And it will probably give the listeners a great delight. All 6 of you, you'll love this shit as the season goes on. Achain is my next value guy. I love Achain. All you got to do is bet over 800.5 yards. This dude's crazy. There literally is a possibility he could do this in 5 games, 800 yards. He just goes off. It's insane. The next one, I bet Jonathan Taylor under 1,200 yards, and I'm betting against time and consistency, shitty quarterback play, and injury history. Omari Hampton, that's my other wild card here. We're going over 800.5 yards. Once again, ceiling's off the charts for this kid. He's going to be fun to watch. And then finally, I have to put my money where my mouth is. After doing the research, I pretty much disagree with this bet, but I have to do it. So if you want to follow me, don't do it. I'm betting under Bucky Irving, 1,025.5 yards. And I'm also going to take, you can get it 1,050, Dan. That might save me.
There you go.
The 1,050 might save me. All right. So I'm going to bet under on his 4 touchdowns versus the 7.5 the book's projected. And that's all we got, man. So
no, it's a good episode. I think we'll see. A little head scratcher there at the end, but that's what keeps our listeners on their toes, I guess.
Correct. We're trying to be unique. We're trying to have a good time here. We thank you guys for listening. It means a lot. Once again, tell your friends. Don't tell your friends. We don't give a shit. We're still going to do this. So we're going to have a good time doing this. And we hope you guys have a good time too. Make some money.
Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. And like Brendan said, tell your friends.
Yeah. And we're also going to have the YouTube videos as well. We want you guys to be educated on sports betting, and we'll be discussing a couple of those items, and it should be fun to watch. And it should be pretty educational, pretty short videos too. So if you made it through this, they're going to be nothing. Yep. So thanks. Come back. Please tell people that are sponsors. Tell them to listen. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.
Different magnetic. Yo, my raps vaulted, here my memory banks that never be released. Box cut inside the apple, you're in for a treat. Paper cuts in a vicious way, running back, dead giveaway, the handoff, the cease. Reigns, Tony Kukoc, I've been diagnosed with whack rapper symptoms. You might need creatine or cortisone shots. Slaughter opponents out, they couldn't find our bodies, hid it in border home plots. I'm up crafting consultation appointments. Larry O'Brien trophy room showcases boisterous. I bliss from my lungs, my voice has a grip. Sharp double vision, magic tricks, disastrous. Session quarters in mid-air during a coin flip. I rhyme at Malaysia, ministerial lessons. Galaxy Guardians perplexing, mind up Batista. Got these losers stressing. I didn't see the signs either. My future's progressing. I'm on my grind like a barista. Brewer sessions for the title. I'm promoting cruiserweights. I write for your standard routines. Humans place collective elements, souls connected. The future's at stake. Hijack aircraft, stolen Henny sip out of U.S. pace. Growing like a skinny dip in nuclear waste. Yo, wait.
To me, the mentality is a really simple one in the sense that the confidence comes from preparation. So when the game's on the line, I'm not asking myself to do something that I haven't done thousands of times before. And so in those moments, if it looks like I'm ice cold or not nervous, it's because I've done it thousands of times before. So it's